Obaseki would have been the best governor in the history of Nigeria if he wanted to be. He has every single parameter of becoming a very great governor. He had no single godfather. There's a big problem when I have a godfather, when I have a money project. And he was supposed to empower his people. Why is it that the only people that has the mentality of Okpak Moyahin is only the Benin people? Why should it be so? A Yoruba man gets to power, he empowers majorly Yorubas. An Igbo man gets to power, he empowers majorly Igbos. An Hausa man gets to power, he empowers majorly an Hausa. And Esama is there now, he's empowering some people, they are crying. Why their own brother could not empower his own Benin people?
I have you about it. This changes mentality.
It has to be Benin first. Fuck every other thing anybody will say.
Yes.
See, let me tell you, the principle that guides the Israeli, that's one mentality, one thing. Of all the things I've told you, this Nyatana, you must take it to the bank. We are keep all It's the principle of faggings. Why the Israelis, the Jews are very successful people in the world. It's because of this principle that everything must revolve around them.
Yes.
You like it batana. Yeah, the batana. But in the way one manufacture it. No. They don't your tailor no manufacture a batter. Give you batter and what you like it. What me about where? Okay, you remember okay, where worry. Yeah, boy. You won't even eat the airport. You might just not understand. Or you wear it out with batter and you won't eat it. The wealth of the Jews revolves around the Jews.
Yes.
They don't give their money out to strangers.
That's true. Wow.
Me a yeki, ya hire Demi Obigbo. One person Obigbo because I'm able to run a successful business just 5 years into it. I still have a strong ambition of how to form a very huge conglomerate. Ya yeki. Una no Obigbo na be even na ya do. Mo what's a get Can you not ask me where a boy that mentality must revolve around us. Okay. To mental. Ask any person around you. If I had details where a project in the woman will work. Then the first person can or Timak by an details and even cook. When I can van a store, I mean people not rushing, you're not okay. Just tell me the price when you want to say, give me. Or not the time and the price. It's so 195. Maybe it's a store or Timak. Now we 95 you need the same quality. Or now we 10-2. And I will tell you, oh boy, I good details now. Now so pork man, I tell me my bamba now we not 10-2 no. 95 you know. Well we 10-2. No, yeah go right there. Or we keep by 98. Then I do your calculator. 300 times so many. May you get what's the difference? The difference is massive 100,000. You know what? On your tail, sell, but I'd rather lose the 100,000 to you.
That's what's real.
And now 100,000 in may lose, not just I may lose in that. May money lose may yan but supply me the time. Why should you remove market from your own brother because of 100 and 200? If you can afford 4 million, they are the ties. What should not stop you from just losing, sacrificing 100,000, 200,000 to ensure that your fellow Benin man gets it? Which is Benin first. We must not carry our money and give it to another person. Let anybody call us tribalists. They are teaching us.
Yeah,
Are they not teaching us what they're supposed to be?
Yes.
Should I blame him?
No.
They told me, Mama, only me, oh, your mama,
Wow.
Am I just want to understand? So this mentality will not only just remain with us, we must teach our children.
Yeah.
Don't envy, don't jealous. It's your brother. I tell people that let's assume now, I become president of Nigeria. Who do you think I would trust to surround myself? I am an man. So why then I envious of Tinubu that almost everybody around him is Yoruba? Oh, no, we outside and have friends. You must remember your brother. I want to go more. No, I went for 25 years, 30 years on my points anyway. I can have me and my way, who know we so we will say, I ain't doing points anyway. It matter when you are.
That's true.
So please and please.
Thank you very much, sir.
Lastly, please, I get more. I get more to down. Please, it reduces our value as a people. It reduces our value. In my yena, in manorimina, my yore. The 1897 incident is playing a psychological blow. Almost like a race that is floating no clear-cut agenda. The Beninese don't know what we want in the next 5 years. We don't know what we want in the next 10 years. We don't have a blueprint. That is why you see Ivinka can just go to Otorima with bank and say that they own it and do video and send it to all. That able will do. That is why you see Shekiri will go to Olode and misbehave. Take our jobs. What is supposed to be accrued to us, they will take it and also tell you that you can't do anything. That is why jobs will do theirs. Jobs who are ancestors. Their ancestors were servants to our ancestors. The children of the servants are not telling the children of the masters that the children of the masters are not the servants. Gima. Obaru kwa ohun upogeze. Edo mamu bon. The Beninese never really understood the language of the sea. Because we look at the sea as a sacred eze. Edotie. Udeneimi layuwa. On your sea. Water and anati water. Eboneimi layuwa. Because water is close to the big river. So my bo wakeze. We feel that is an aperture to the other world. So the Beninese, from time immemorial, do not understand the language of the sea until one of the Daken honor idea school in Lisbon. And at the time in Lisbon, the Portuguese were the best seafarers. The only language we understood was the language of the sea. So it needed to assemble a new set of military formation. That new set of military formation that he needed to assemble were Benin people, but he had only one problem. I'm a Bagwawo corner. And I had to discover that having vagabonds need a job. Yeah, I'm a bag go corner. Okay, what they buy, my go corner. Ari, we be no pony yan. Another be there be to settle na emotional to assume over no kind we are not you. Or Java to press or Java to know your buy good no. Only the be mean any young soon and I we want a joa. I be manaya to any being you there. We got on one take it again. I have been always see men or
KCT.
if you don't know the case, yeah, Lady Margaret McKim when you have a high court appeal on Supreme. Yeah, as any bado say, it can actually do get no worry, I will street. What man go street to a camel?
Wagari want to go.
And a palace of Parewa.
Palace
A palace in a art Ogeka.
A palace no rope of a jam.
Left.
Yeah.
Anna Eva, Anna Ogeka.
Okay. Yeah, palace nation.
You have a KZ to save our boundary. Yeah, only a zone Yamma, yeah. A cultivar.
They will collect the name.
Oh, I think I call it just a ring road in there. As on I am not we. They am marry court. Eva or a boundary. Oh, you didn't know?
Now, we just know.
I will just
I never knew that.
Oh, you know. But what I want to assure all of you today is that who are with you, my soul is you. That way I want you born own do. My own. I didn't send him know that in Niger. I told him that he should calm down. KK and Wariria will not do him. But there's going to be a bigger umbrella that is coming. You do not change whatever roles you guys are playing. The role that bigger umbrella must play. For me, everything you do now, I always believe that KK now will require so much funding. My job is to get quite a lot of people and get those resources for those who will fight for this land. So I'm already going to make move. I've been on. But the mentality, the only one boom, the only one boom, the first thing we must stop is very important. Or courtesan, if you do get it, and very soon, we are trying to get some clearance and some words from statement from the palace and other. I mean, una wa obieru. Una boyedu, wotedu. Kenuri aye wa bona, my family has very aye wa bona ma God was source. A non-foreigner can no longer be killing our people in their own land because of color. And secondly, Benin can no longer also kill themselves because of color.
And also because of land.
Also because of land.
Community land. Tired.
We have to change all of that. No we do. We are talk. No we a teeny walk I a domaria tinini. A mammoth do not carry the rock. Benin was above the only civilizations in the world that never had a standing military group. Iyoku. Mama as many Nigerian military union. Because as old as Benin, they were very knowledgeable and very wise. our Barnical,
Mm.
wise people. Now, when you have a standing military, a very madman, when Abiya said, who were controlling the military, who used them to rebel against the people or against the monarch. So they were not standing military. Okuaro, Edona Mwegbe Hoku,
Ah, they were boy.
Aduwe, Kirianawa, Hiave, Kagil, Avik Bamanirema, Wavie, 50 boys, 50 boys. Getting the camp, Nana Mubatria or Bana. They were winning him. Obana was a military camp. Nana training Bama, non with Boko. Obana was one of the military camp. Uzebu was also a military camp. So, when you to Ogba, every man I swallow a kissing big where you go on. Ogba was also a military camp. Ogba wrote the Ekadol or Yonire. We have 4 military camps. And our training. There will be an arm or set. As it tell me, these were the 4 military camps. Evanaya train. Later, why Moko do or a do a Moko boy. I do well, okay, we have 2,000, 3,000. I mobilize the Babana, Obanati Babana, more than 20,000 standing and mirroring. I are training and Liaga. I don't with me until you go. You say, Mama na lose your cool. So, what am I saying this? And Okaili does not have the power to take a Benin man's land. Or a Benin. Again, we have to start telling them that. Well, if you are treating Oriowe bad, but we are do talk. Oriowe. I already walk where we do. You cannot also bully us. People are bullying us in our own land. You, my brother, can also bully me in my own land. It's not done. We're not bullies. We're not bullies. I don't take bully egbe. Egbo do one with my one more bad area. We're not bullies. So now, I will support your group. We will support your group very well. And Kevin, I've not really heard in my work, but like I have said, the group is coming. It's going to oversee. You do your responsibilities, you give report. You will not be in charge of how to get resources and fundings and all of that. Because that's what eventually we are going to need.
Back up.
Akugbe.
And again, I know you guys will tell you, but the first priority is to carry the Benin flag. Benin flag. Or a flag or Agneya.
That's true.
While you maintain your group identity, but you must always understand that you are not doing it for your group, you're doing it for the land. And Kevin, I really you, when I have Naya, you get to Naya, you get back. Wow. Why I was help and talk about it. The greatest politician, Nedoeri ni Viedu, one go mine at here, or a Humphrey, almost I did. And I tell B2. Iyasewano. Iyasakenswa. Iyasoge Obaewa Iranokwa. Do you know what is the greatest politician? I'll tell you. Again, Mana Arel Utiti Yoba. Yanadwaya, Senegua, and all of that. In 1931, there was a conference that was held at Ijebu-Ede. By Weka or Weka the second, or Babagani. Are you holding the conference in it? The Awu Jele of Ijebu, and no Guna, Erin no Guna, so no water before no water Guna. On that term of back, on our own is here. Our laughing is here. I am here. We are complete. And Obayaweka the second was there. So that's when it dawned on Obayaweka that Ebo do Fima by Emanogima, we will need to leave. So when that avenue came for a creation of Midwest, it was championed by Obakenswa II. So when people tell you that the palace do not get involved in politics, tell them that they are stupid. It was Obakenswa II that started what eventually became a political movement that eventually became the creation of Midwest region. Otherwise, Edobe data of Maiti Ahini Yoruba. It was an Oba that started it. The freedom that Edo and Delta enjoy today for still maintaining their Edo-ness. Those who are Esan maintaining their Esan. Those who are Esa for maintaining their Esako. Those who are Owan, because at that time when we were under the Western region, if Yoruba infiltrated places from Akoko Edo Owan, there is state Mayare under Western region. I can assure you that Mayawe Magayazedo, Yoruba Mayawa, because they had already infiltrated. That's why when you go to the lot, our Akoko Edo, in Yoruba, but in Yoruba, they were already infiltrated. Just like the way the Igbos, those regions that were under Eastern region, River States, and the likes of the Bayelsa, was also infiltrated by Igbo language. It was the same thing. Bakenswa needed to lead the political movement that removed Edo and Delta, what you now call Delta, from the grip. That is why Urobo has maintained Urobo. Isoko has maintained Isoko. Ika has maintained the car. That was because of the war of an Oba. So let nobody tell you that Oba does not get involved. The Obas of Benin get involved in political matters when it is expedient to the survival
of the kingdom.
Of their kingdom. You know, Basekitoni and finish a kingdom.
That's true.
The natural instinct of a man is survival. Una wa owanoma. Una mwesi dan wa gbemewa. And we now on dan. We na gbemek bega na not take gbemewa. Wa owanoma. Because you have made me to survive. Megi gagyo na we ya gagyo. So, the more only you do, you take kind one or two things not come and all of that. You better do what he want not see it. The kingdom was threatened. I hinted by the kingdom in year 7. So, do you think that if I get Kubori, you get survive? Or how ecology, I support it.
That's true.
For my own survival. Then you can no longer now blame me for trying to survive.
So
anybody that is telling you that Ewawa got involved in politics, I get a porters again or Boha. Bohas were the brightest political analysts in Edo land. Boha, at this area, I will know. I want any again for them to learn politics. How am I that came politics? A politics is not going who were one. Or brutal and not going who was sort of. But one thing, like I have said, that every man must understand is that when humans are created, we are given a natural instinct of survival. We must do everything to survive.
Exactly.
And every Oba must do anything, must collaborate, must work with someone who has assured them that their kingdom will remain. Not one that is hell-bent on destroying their kingdom. So, Ioni, Tony, going back to Onfiomo Osaige supported His Royal Majesty Oba Akenzwa II to ensure that the Midwest region was created. Now, but if you ever done it so, basically because in an area to Action Group, a political party of EU, but in Amate Kwe, Niwaba, we have succeed because of, in other words, they had supported their political interest over their Benin nationality, over the survival of their land and the survival of their people. 50, 60 years ago, or why you go when you boom?
Oh, you know. It's more.
On yourself, if you read history, you will discover that there's always been time immemorial. But eventually, the Iyase stood gallantly with his king. Anadilibu created that Midwest in 1963. And he created it. Let me tell you what selflessness is. That is why any politician who did not meet up with the standard of Humphrey Omo Osaige should never at any time represent us ever again. And he achieved one in there. There's another person that I must also allow you people know of. His name is Senator Dalton Asemota. He was the first Benin man to become a senator. The 3 weeks now where the plebiscite, 3 weeks to now where the plebiscite. Aaron Pa, who is now called a nationalist, you people go and find out where you stand on. Honorable Otimania dear Eko, no convince nega you by the Midwest in Igekba. Ohan, who was also a pro-Bini, on in our line motto was song Adedo, on a via Adedo. But on row in a wagwan or Daffy and Rowa, or convince nega you by. Then I am mere Midwest here. Many nas a guy home. And I get here. Oh, you don't have time. I do time Obama. In your support. Emi nori glory. Ne utedu. Emi nori glory ne uyi na rienoba. Yen baby ewa. We Rudoni. Omagilere to the as a senator representing Benin division at that time, or Benin province at that time. That he walk here out of his house. That person is it's a prominent person. A particular place is named after him, the Ring Road. So you sign on. The money you know can. But Senator Dalton died few days before we actually achieved the creation of Midwest region. But why I went up, can you drive it over in a grave side over? I cried. That was about 7 or 8 months ago. Now this man is just dead. The Benins do not know the sacrifices this man made for them. Come back to the current senator that we have now. Gap wario wave na anadie 100 million nega you bought by a nivea do mudia. Yet travel in UK. I been the meeting I had with you Yama Yonia, Maria, did say my son, I Jenny and Tiari, and mine. Allegedly. One thing I will tell you, allegedly. Junior.
You know. Well, yeah.
A bar Mario now, but it's not a pro Benin. But in the case of Humphrey Omonsai, he already created and now okay. 2 positions are created now. You know, it's about 3 positions: the Governor General, the Premier, and the Capital. On the Premier, it cannot carry. I'm with Capital City now. Yeah, I do think I go when I ask you saying that Midwest creation and I the most aside of Bakenswa, the most gallant of all of them was Chief Humphrey Omonsai. Yeah, I will not lie. Not the Premier. Then I get a governor. Not the moon of Midwest. On a level. Room dying a moon. Over doing here. I do with Capital City cannot buy it. I'm worried of it. Well, yeah, I'm with governor. Again, the premier tier, yeah, I'm with premier. But the Capital City must remain where the Oba Benin resides. So now became the premier. Dennis Osadebe. Where you call Dennis Osadebe today is supposed to be called Humphrey Omonsai's house. He sacrificed his own interest for the interest of the Adolan.
Selfless.
That is selflessness. How many politicians that you call 2016, 3 weeks before I coronated Obaewa, I told myself that I will never go to any politician's man's house. I will never go and meet any politician to ask for a favor. 2016 till now, I don't even know if any politician exists. That is because most especially our political class, they are the worst. If they need your help now, it's because of our own, not because they love you. They don't like any of us. So we must change that. We are not being an edo or
Exactly.
if any politician is aspiring as a Benin man or woman, is aspiring for any political position, the first question we must ask, why you will not go? Because our normal women not do. Okay, in politician, okay, Saze, my near all the one every women not do. You can't give what you don't have. So please and please, yeah, I am you one. We need to change our mindset. My brother talked about courtesan. Who are the people sponsoring courtesan? The same political class. The reason the courtesan Hanafu were doing is because they want to run a sponsor. They want to run. If you go like every election, that has to stop. That has to stop. No, you only contest election. You know, VA. Many I have philosophy. You have no business because of 10,000, 20,000. So that brings me to a topic. Every Benin man, okay, can we no go. We no go. You cannot give me 20 million to support you as a politician. On a very good day, you know, 20 million in a day. Am I able to understand?
Mm.
If I want to work for any politician now, it cannot even be a commissioner. I'm not trying to brag because I earn more than them. It cannot even be an House of Assembly members because I earn more than them. It could always be at the level of the governor, and at the level of the governor, it will be Wagagi women. There is mutual respect because that is why Wanaga has been an eane. Emania empower any rewebo yaru heaven agwana. So, but when you have a source of livelihood that takes care of your basic needs, that takes care of your family needs, they will not be able to use you.
That's true.
So not loud. I frown at if you're doing it now. I frown at it. While we are fighting for Benin, we must also have in winner. Now our Gioma over okay, ultimately weather no. Why you may contract a weather. Any year you need do one ask. Almost everybody know me, amen. Almost everybody know me, amen. If you don't know, I'll give you an example. A cleaner, the complex, a cleaner a complex now. Nejawa no. Each the management of the complex pays them their salary, money at table. Each of the shops where we are paid. So in a many area can't always get no food, man. Make it type I don't need to. I'm not saying we don't know we are the work area. Now you go now Nika Kenya pay no but we are doing. I cannot pay you that amount, it's too small. Yeah, you buy one. But I win say now when you talk about the old, the Benin Kingdom was built in the spirit of excellence. There were no mediocrity. When you say again, they una down what I do. Emi aro no doba, awe ana agwalo mano me bawe no ba. So you would have been able to distinguish yourself before you became a known person in the society. So everybody was striving to distinguish themselves. The present-day United States of America, the concept of what United States of America is was what Benin was. It's one of the problems we're having. If you're going, no, but if you not see it, there were some responsibilities. If you so waro, mati agwalo, ana agwalo toy, ana do home away we going on, or me bawe agiti no do well, we or do what we do. Or I make another two puzzle. If you have not established yourself, puzzle as staff of authority, I mean you leg out only 7 times. On the 7th time, I will pronounce you or motor. Enable it a green card.
Green card, yeah.
They were foreigners who, because they contributed to the greatness of the kingdom and the empires at the time, were given a citizenship by the pronouncement of the Ogaratu. It was a society built on just and excellence. But the disadvantage of that society is what we are facing now.
Yeah.
That the gene, the DNA of these people whose ancestors were not originally from this place, Any bona if you get why. You cannot see a Benin man whose DNA is 10, 15, 20 years generation is a pure Benin strands that will do what some of these people are doing.
Yes. All right.
It means blood in the boom we do. So why are only again? But it is not also in our own case to declare anybody Ogiomba. Ogiomba is a very sacred word. The only person that has that authority to declare anybody such is the Oba of Benin. Because you become an outcast. Most people not declare Ogiomba as Zegbele. They could not bear the shame. I own a term Ogiomba. So, but because some people disagree with our opinion, some persons disagree, not because they hate the palace, but because they just disagree. That is because the society of Benin was also built on divergent opinion, on variance of opinion. So that means at one point in time, palace might do one or two things that you do not agree with. But what I frown out is that irrespective of whatever palace does that is not appealing to you, after World War,
That's true.
I will never come out publicly to criticize the palace of the Oba. But I mean, we know we're telling where I work. But the palace is the umbrella that covers us.
The face of
When you point negatively to the palace, you point negatively to yourself.
that's true.
Never do that. It is forbidden. Not every decisions of the palace might all go well with each and every one of us.
Definitely.
But am I dirty? Women of why? There's so much responsibilities that comes with that throne. When you see me have a governor, yaga inya. Peria wata bona from the oil ladnya Dubai. But when they get there, it becomes a different ball game. If anybody tells you and sit down and give you critical analysis of what he will do when he becomes a governor, first of all, look at him as he be able to run a company successfully and manage just 20 people. When make analysts with TV stations all the time, yeah, analyze. And me analyzing now, they have not, or in one guy, no way analysis of your donor. Or ewebo, money kunu in your way. Or you analyze the FO. Then I saw a comment. Okay, since I say Okpe will not go school. When I say Okpe will not go school, what if who na fi say supposed to be governor, all these young boys now when they talk, and I do our analysis. A lot of people chose the guy. What was their argument? Someone who thinks like that is worse than an illiterate.
Yes.
Leadership has nothing to do with
English.
English. An Igbo man born in Oka, normal primary school, normal secondary school, but is running a multi-billion successful business, is a better leader than one guy who wants to study English and literature in a top universities in Nigeria, who has never run a single business and know the tricks and intricacies in businesses. And I thought he had one. You know, the guy you guys are talking about ran out of Nigeria because he failed as a common comedian. While his contemporaries are being successful, he are not there on our area. So, and now that one is analyzing because I'm not a fan of any politician. He might like Okpebolo. He might vote in there. He have vote in no more of pie. Many wadi. Then he have election of Okpebolo. Was when Bodalo. He might also say, "Go power to sources name." A gile, a biena de. Makpayo whatever. But the only thing that I pray to God and our ancestors, you know, anybody can be the governor. But no who done it here, negen la no sanu doesn't allow negen win.